Hello everyone, my name is Russ Latow. I'm the founder of the Healing Center, and this is a short video debrief, if you will, or a summary of what we covered in the first workshop of a 6-series workshops on how to meditate. And so this is primarily for our students that attended the first workshop, and also if you weren't able to, this gives you a bit of a review that you can check out as well. And even if you weren't able to attend, or if you're in another part of the country, hopefully you can learn a little bit from this as well. So in the first workshop, as I said, it's a workshop on how to meditate. And see, for us, meditation isn't so much something that you do, like a physical exercise, if you will. It's a state of awareness that you carry with you. And in a very practical way, it is a very effective management tool for your internal environment. And so in our initial workshop, we sort of covered the terrain of those basic building blocks that we use to experience our day-to-day lives. And there's an external aspect to it, and then there are internal aspects to it, and that is what makes up our internal environment. So one of our focuses in this whole series is about sharing with you some tools that you can apply in a very practical way every day and in every way. And so the first workshop was designed to lay a bit of a foundation, and we feel the best way to do that is to explain, first of all, what we define as an experience, which actually is what you're having right now when you're listening, as you're listening to this video, and sort of define the components of that so you can begin to observe not only your day-to-day experiences as you have them, but also you can begin to take a look at your memories, which plays a huge role in meditation and the way that we apply it, and be able to sort of break those down into some manageable components. So for those of you that attended the workshop, there's a handout that we gave you, and for those of you that are registered and weren't able to make it, we'll have a copy of it here when you come the next time. So there are 4 components of an experience, and probably the best way to describe them is to give you an example. So one of those 4 components, and yes, if you're looking at your handout, there's actually 5, correct? Okay, we are going to deal with 4 initially. So the first one, which is actually, if you look at it, we call it the experience triangle because the diagram is a triangle. So the first one is called, obviously, the physical. And that, again, obviously, is external, right? So for instance, in my experience that I'm having right now, the physical aspect of that experience or component is this physical room. So I'm sitting in the room that we taught the workshop, so I look around me and I see what I see. There's the temperature in the room, there's the world that we build with our 5 senses. And that's the external piece. And actually that's the one that is most obvious to us, and we tend to focus on the most. It's the one that I guess we could say is sort of reality, if you will. However, there is much more to your experience, to my experience, that I'm having right now than simply the physical aspect of it. It's important, obviously, but it's one aspect. So that is one of the 4. It's the top layer of our triangle, and that is, as I said, your 5 senses world. Now, every other aspect, so the other 3 aspects are all on the inside. Remember how I said that the way and sort of our underlying theme for this workshop series is managing our internal environment. So the inside, not so much about managing the outside, although it plays a role, but about managing the inside. And as you go through these series, I believe you're going to experience and find out how valuable managing our internal environment is, and as we manage that, how it has a very strong effect on the external. So the other 3 aspects are on the inside. So one of the 3 is our thoughts. So I'm having this experience. I have the physical aspect, the external, absolutely. On the inside, I have the thoughts that I'm thinking right now. So let's say I was going to finish here and I had an appointment somewhere in half an hour, right? So here's my experience and I see the physical that's around me. And the thought, though, that is going through my mind is, oh, right, now I need to make sure I'm on time for this appointment that I have in half an hour, or I may be remembering something that happened this morning. So the thoughts, that internal dialogue that's going around in our mind at any given moment. So that's one of the remaining three of the four pieces of our experience. Now the next one is emotions. So what emotion am I feeling right now? Now, in this present moment, I'm relaxed, I'm just kind of chilling, and I'm sharing this information with you. So I guess if I could, look at my emotions, I would say I'm feeling very peaceful, I'm feeling quite content, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling calm, whatever. Don't get too hung up on trying to label them, right? Just begin to sort of just take time and just sort of ask the question. So what am I feeling? What emotions am I feeling right now? So of the four pieces, we have the external. That's one, the world we build with our five senses. The first, or the two that we've talked about now in the internal, are our thoughts and our emotions. In every experience, you will find those three pieces. And so part of your homework is, just, at any moment, and throughout the day, just stop and just sort of ask yourself the question or just pay attention, right? Okay, so right now, what is, of my experience, what's the physical aspect of it? And I mean, that's the easiest one because that's the one we focused on the most. So we look at this and, just pay attention. Then the next question is, okay, what are the thoughts that are going through my mind right at this moment? There's nothing to right or a wrong answer. Just sort of ask the question and be aware. What are the thoughts that are going on in my mind? And then the next question is, what are the emotions that I'm feeling right now? Don't remember, this isn't a question we have to come up with the answer for it. The important thing is asking a question, because what that is going to do is it's going to help us to be more aware and to be more observant of what's going on externally, but and more importantly, internally. Right? Because being able to identify our internal environment is so important, because then we know what we're trying to manage. Okay, so that's three. Now I talked about four. There's one more. And as you look at your handout, it's the very bottom of that triangle. And actually the bottom of that triangle, if you look at your handout, is really blank. What I would like you to do is imagine or even draw in there I, as in me, or the letter I, if you will, because that piece of our experience, that's the essence of who we are. That's you. Now, how do you put that in logical terms? Well, that's the neat thing about it. You can't. Because the you that's you is not something that's definable using language, using time and space words, using five senses, really. Because here's the neat thing about it. Some of the aspects of our physical world, as I said, there is the world we build with our five senses, and actually if you look at your triangle, we've added two more, which are time and space. The physical aspect of our experience has the five senses, and it also is where we begin use the raw materials, if you will, of time and space. So if I wanted to get up and walk over and turn the camera off, I see the camera is 3 or 4 feet away, and it will take me a short period of time, but a period of time to go over there and turn the camera off. So that's time and space. On the inside are my emotions and my thoughts. Now the interesting thing about our emotions and our thoughts is that they are timeless, right? Because I can sit here and I can think about, the temperature of the room. I can think about that, or I can think about yesterday, or I can, contemplate tomorrow. So our time and actually our emotions, or our thoughts and our emotions are actually timeless. Now that may make perfect sense to you, or it might make you go like, But as you carry on in our workshops, you'll begin to see that is very, very true. The piece, the fourth piece of that triangle, which is us, that is what meditation allows us to begin to communicate with, or begin to remember, or begin to come in tune with. See, in that place, I guess the prime descriptor for that place is one of peace. Because we know, right, in our physical dimension, stuff happens, right? We know sometimes our thoughts are our friends, and sometimes, they're like our worst enemies, as our emotions sometimes. But that peace that's you, the real you, because you're not your physical, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, the you that's really the bottom of that triangle is always at peace. And one of the amazing things that meditation allows us to do is it allows us to step outside of our external, and in a very real way allows us to step outside of our thoughts and our emotions and step into that connection, that reconnection with us. You see, and that's why there's so much value in learning how to take an experience and identify those first three components, and especially our thoughts and emotions, because that's the two factors out of the three, and the third one is the us, that is you, the bottom of the triangle. That's the internal environment, and that's the piece that we're really going to learn how to manage, because as we learn how to manage our thoughts and our emotions, guess what? The us, the you, that's you, that place is at perfect peace, perfect stillness, perfect power. You begin to rediscover that. Okay? That's the recap of your first workshop. Your homework assignment, for those of you that have the handout, a little reminder, and for those of you that as I said, missed it, don't worry, you can pick up the handouts when you come to the next workshop. But even if you until then, this is your homework. In every experience, there's four components. The physical, you're used to, but practice, paying attention, being observant. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? Being able to sort of divide your experience into those three components. The you that is you, that's what you will reconnect with as you carry on through these workshops. But for now, physical, emotions, thoughts. Work at being able to observe those, to quantify those, if you will, to begin to divide and look at those three components. Because in the next workshops, we will talk about how to manage those. As you're able to identify them, you are now able to manage them. All right? For those that you attended, it was great seeing you. For those that you that weren't able to make it, we will see you on the next one. As I said, I'll finish at the beginning. My name is Russ Latour. I'm the founder of the Healing Center. If this video has made its way somewhere else in one of the many video sites, you can find out more about us at www.healingcenter.ca. That's center spelled CENTER.ca. All right. Thanks, guys.